So honestly, I have the right to speak on this topic because I'm going to date someone's son one day. So if you as a mother not doing what you need to do with your son, how is he going to be an effective partner? For me to be able to become a mother one day, and I can't even have a effective partner because a lot of these men have issues with you.
Don't you ever forget that being black is an honor because you come from greatness.
Is an introduction really necessary for someone we all know so well?
Welcome to Chesley in Real Life podcast, where we talk about real and unfiltered, thought-provoking conversations to help and heal. So as you can see from the title, today's topic is womanhood versus motherhood. So I am like really super passionate about my journey of womanhood and how God has, brought me through, just me becoming who I am today and just going through trials and tribulations. And also, this is a disclaimer. I am not a mother. I do not have children. I've never been pregnant before. But the reason why I feel like I can speak on this topic is because I know the other side of it, where you're a woman that I'm 32 years old and I don't have any children, but I get a lot of criticism from people with children that say, oh, you don't have children, you don't understand. And keep in mind, this is criticism from mothers that I have tried to extend help. Because regardless of me being a mother or not, I understand that when you have children, this is a sacrifice that you have to make. And it's a lot of like ups and downs that you go through with dealing with raising a child. Like, I don't think you physically have to have a child come out of your body for you to understand that that's a tough job. And I'm just one of those women that regardless of like if, going through womanhood or going through motherhood, I understand we're all women at the end of the day. Before we get started, let me read off a definition that I found on Google about embracing womanhood. So on Google, I'm gonna make sure I put it up on the screen. It says, what does embrace womanhood mean? Embracing womanhood physically, mentally, and emotionally requires a journey of self-love, self-acceptance, and courage. It means challenging societal standards, celebrating the uniqueness of our experience, and recognizing there is no one way to be a woman. So the definition that I found on Google is definitely, like, I agree with it 100%. So basically, first of all, before I get into like my journey of womanhood, I wanted to start out by basically explaining how I even came up with this topic and how, what happened that made me think about this. And I'm the only one in my family that does not have children. So basically, my brother, his wife, ex-wife, I'm not really sure. I don't know their business, but they've been having some difficulties, and I'm in contact with my nieces. Like, my brother has 2 daughters. So they, were able to contact me whenever they wanted to on their iPads. And basically they would always call me, which I greatly appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless if I don't have a relationship with my brother, I'm glad that I'm able to, be a light to my nieces. And also make sure y'all check out episode 1 of my podcast, Toxic Family. But yeah, basically my nieces will reach out to me. So it's obvious that when I will be in communication with them, I noticed, things were not okay with where they were currently residing. So I end up getting in contact with their mother, which is my brother, wife, ex-wife, not sure. But basically I told her, I was like, if you need help, just let me know. I can go get them, and just let me know whatever you need so I can be of assistance to you. So basically I end up going to go get them, and they were with me for like 2 weeks. But I was, they were kind of displaying some disciplinary like issues. And I'm the type of person, I don't play with kids. Like, I don't at all. But I'm not, at the end of the day, I still understand I'm not their mother. So I would basically call her and say, hey, this is what's going on. Like, fix it. Because I'm not the type of person, yeah, I'm their auntie, but I'm not their mother. Like, I'm not for the, discipline them or put my hands on them. But I don't really believe in whipping kids anyway. But I feel like sometimes you got to be real stern and let a kid know you ain't playing with them. So basically, it seemed like instead of her trying to make sure they understood it, like, hey, you need to listen to your auntie, she was trying to, like, I guess, like, make them be disrespectful towards me, which I thought was weird because it's like, wait a minute, I'm trying to help you. So then I end up texting her like saying, hey, I'm trying to be there for you and help you, but I'm not finna deal with, children being disrespectful to me. So I basically let her know, I was like, hey, just, come get them so you could just deal with them however you want to deal with them. And she texted me basically saying, in a nutshell, like, oh, Chesley, you don't understand motherhood. And I was like, hold up. Hold the phone. So I text her back. I was like, I think that's really disrespectful for you to like say that to me, because it's like, wait, you don't understand womanhood. So it's like, wait, I'm a woman that don't have no children, but I'm stepping outside of myself to help you because I understand that you are having a difficulty raising your daughter. So let me step in, because even though I don't have a relationship with my brother, these are still my nieces. So if I can step in and help, that's what I do. But that's why I came to this topic, because womanhood, motherhood, because how dare her? Like, my whole thing is like, okay, I get it. You're the one that's raising your daughters every day. You're the one that have to do XYZ to make sure your children are good. I get that. Like, I'm not one of those women that be trying to make it seem like I know everything, and I'm not that woman at all. Like, I'm a very sometimes I feel like I'm too understanding. Like, I understand too much, because at the end of the day, I feel like regardless of you being a mother or not a mother, the only difference between us is a choice. So you were a woman first, and you chose to become a mother. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this video is more towards, it's like basically bridging the gap between women that do not enjoy motherhood, and they like to kind of criticize women that don't have kids and say we don't understand. But the only difference between us, like I said, is a choice. You chose to lay on your back and allow a man to ejaculate in you. That's how children get here. For those of you that don't know how children get here, that's how they get here. You have to have sex, okay? So it doesn't make you more of a woman or more of a responsible adult because you have to take care of a child that you created with a man. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to clear that up. But basically, the whole point of this conversation is to be able to bridge a gap with women that struggle with womanhood. Because I feel like at the end of the day, you created this child, and you have to understand that okay, so basically her telling me that I don't understand motherhood, when I said to her, I said, you don't understand womanhood, because keep in mind, this young lady, I didn't even realize that me and her were the same age. That I ain't gonna lie, that blew my mind, because I feel like when I talked to her, I feel like we were on two different wavelengths. Like, we did not seem like we were the same age, but we were. And basically when I said to her, she don't understand womanhood, I wasn't saying that to her to be disrespectful. I said that to her because, keep in mind, this young woman, she had her first child, my niece, when she was 19 or 20. I'm not sure the age, but I just know that my niece is 10, and I think she either 31 or 32. But basically, I think if you're a woman and you're 19, 20 years old, I don't think you fully understand who you are as a woman. Like, that's why I was wanted to start off with womanhood first, because I can speak on motherhood, but at the end of the day, I don't know what it feels to be someone's mother. But let me speak on womanhood first, and then we're gonna get into motherhood. So basically, with womanhood, if you're 19, 20 years old, I don't think you fully understand who you are as a woman. If you go back to the definition of what I posted about embracing womanhood, it's like you have to be able to understand your journey of self-love, self-acceptance, and basically just loving who you are, and just basically going through obstacles as a woman and being able to overcome it. So I feel like when I told her that, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just saying, if I don't understand motherhood, you don't understand womanhood, because you have to be a woman that's able to stand 10 toes down on yourself. Well, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but what I'm saying is that you have to stand 10 toes down on yourself as a woman before you have children. Because I feel like, honestly, what can you really teach your daughter or your son if you're not really sure about who you are in totality of yourself as a woman. Like, I don't think it's possible, because I feel like that's why it's so many traumatized adults walking around, because their mothers and fathers failed them. But we speaking about motherhood, but I feel like a lot of people have issues with their mother, because I think a lot of women did not want to be mothers. Like, that's just what it boils down to me. But we're going to focus on womanhood for right now. So, basically, understanding womanhood is just knowing who you are. Like, I think with me, when I was 19, 20 years old, I don't think I was fully as confident as I am today, where I'm able to look myself in the mirror and love what I see. When I was 19, 20 years old, so I know if I struggled with myself as a woman in 1920, I know this woman probably did as well. And I mean, she kind of spoke about her upbringing briefly, and it was some trauma there with her and her mother, which, I mean, it's not my place to tell her story, but I think for you to disrespect me and tell me I don't understand something, I have the right to speak on it, because I feel like at the end of the day, I have mastered womanhood. Like, I could say that with my whole chest, because everything I've been through in my life has got me prepared to be the woman I am, to start a podcast, I teach people how to roller skate. Like, everything I do in my life has prepared me, because I have accepted who I am as a woman, and kind of like went through this journey of life and understanding that I can't allow life to stop me or slow me down. Like, me being in my full confidence of who I am, it shows my power as a woman. Because I done mastered womanhood so much that I done had grown men say that I was masculine. And I'm pretty sure, y'all, I'm gonna insert a definition of masculine, because honestly, I think we need to get into the habit of looking up words before we get offended by what people say to us. Because if you look up the definition of masculine, like the traits of a masculine man, it shows leadership, direction, somebody that's structured. Like, basically someone that knows who they are, and they are confident in that. And I think I display all those attributes, so I would never be offended if a man called me masculine. Thank you, I appreciate it. Because one thing about me, I know a lot of women say Mr. Make It Happen. Baby, I'm Mrs. Make It Happen, because anything I want in life, I go after it. And I feel like I'm saying about womanhood, I feel like before you bring children into this world as a woman, you should master womanhood first before you go into motherhood, because I feel like you're doing your children a disservice. Like, it's gonna be a struggle being able to raise them, because you're not really sure with yourself. And that's the whole purpose of this conversation, to allow any woman that sees this video to focus on yourself. Like, do things to make you happy. Figure out your career. Figure out, like, just loving yourself. Figure out being able to, like, look yourself in the mirror and like what you see. Like, that's the whole importance of your womanhood, is to be able to accept and love yourself in totality, and not be looking for validation from other people. That's the definition of a real woman that's mastering womanhood. And I'm literally the epitome of that. And I feel like, at the end of the day, like let's get into motherhood. Even though I'm not a mother, I understand wholeheartedly what it takes to be a mother. That's why I'm choosing not to be a mother, because I don't want to go through that by myself. I don't want to be the woman that's struggling and don't really have a solid support system, because I feel like that's necessary. You need the right man in your life to help you raise children. Like, that's just how it goes. That's how God intended it to be. And at the end of the day, I know, like, this is me being understanding. I know I'm not a mother, but I understand that you need support. And the only reason why, like I said, about me bringing up this topic is because I was being disrespected and told that I don't understand. But how do I not understand when I'm trying to help you? Like, I feel like women that struggle with motherhood, let's get on y'all. Because this video is not for women that love being a mother. This is not the video for y'all. These are for women that struggle with motherhood, and they like to ostracize women that don't have kids and say we don't understand. Because it's like, wait a minute, how I don't understand when I'm trying to help you? Like, it's just like this is the analogy that I thought about when I think about when people say, oh, you don't have no kids, you don't understand. Okay, it's people out here that know how to drive, but they don't have a car. Like, I think a lot of people understand that you have to have insurance, You have to be able to maintain the maintenance of your car, but they just can't afford to buy a car right now. So that's with people that don't have kids. Like, most people know that they're not in a space to take care of no children. So they choose, okay, well, let me make sure I take birth control, or let me abstain or be celibate and not have sex, so I don't bring no kids into this world because I'm not ready for that. And I think that's important for you to understand what it takes to raise children before you bring children into this world. So, yeah, you don't have to be a mother to understand motherhood. Like, I don't care. I mean, people might not agree with me, but that's okay. You don't have to. But I know me personally, I'm not in a space to bring no kids into this world because I don't even have a solid foundation with a man for me to even be pregnant. Like, how am I pregnant and I don't even have a solid relationship with a man, my husband, my future husband? So how can I even think about being a mother when I don't have the foundation that's in my mind that's required in order to be an effective mother? And I mean, I'm pretty sure people gonna be like, oh, how dare her, speak about motherhood when she don't even have kids. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, you don't have to have something to understand what it takes, because at the end of the day, I know that in order to be an effective mother, you have to have resources. So forget having support, forget not having a man in your life. You got to have money to take care of children, because children need food, clothing. But I think that food, clothes, and shelter, that's a given. Like, that's not even like a part of the conversation when I think about motherhood. When I think about motherhood, I think about creating a safe space for your children to be able to come to you when something is wrong, and they know that they're going to feel protected by you and being seen. Like, children, like, they need attention. They need love. They need to know that their parents love them and they care about them. Like, if you're a mother, like, you shouldn't look at other women that don't have kids and feel some type of way. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier in the video, you made a choice. So stand on that choice and stand 10 toes down on being the mother that you know that your kids need and deserve. Because I know a lot of women, they deal with like trauma from their mothers and they just spill that over into their children. But you gotta break that. You gotta go get some therapy. You gotta go talk to somebody. You gotta heal that wound that you have with your mother, so you don't spill that over into your children. Because I don't think that's fair. Like, you gotta understand, these children did not ask to be here. Like, you chose to lay on your back and have sex, and that's how you have children. So you have to accept responsibility for that. And I think, me personally, regardless of me having a child or not, I understand that you got to stand 10 toes down on your children. That's why a lot of children are like not really doing well as far as like not being able to read, kind of like acting, having disciplinary problems in school, because their mothers are not showing up in a real way. Because I feel like your children are a reflection of you and how you feel about yourself, because your children are sponges. They're literally watching you day by day, seeing how you engage and interact as an adult, and they're mirroring that behavior. So at the end of the day, like, I understand, like, I think a lot of women, they just want the baby. Like, that's what it is. They want the baby. And that's really, unfortunate that you just want a goo-goo gaga, but you don't want to actually raise a human being that's going to be an adult like we are. Like, at the end of the day, because I think when I was spending that 2 weeks I spent with my nieces, like, I was basically talking to them as if though they were going to be young women like me one day. Because they're not going to stay little girls. They're going to be grown women one day. And they're going to remember, my auntie told me that we need to work out. Because I used to, when they were with me, I took them outside and we were doing like workouts. Because I was telling them, like, you got to work out. You got to eat healthy. Like, that's the type of stuff that you got to instill in children. So when they become older, they keep these same traits. So when they're adult, they can pass that down to their future children. Like, everything about raising a child is understanding that they're not going to stay children. And I think for me to not have kids, I understand this because I've been around women with children. I was a child once upon a time. So, and keep in mind also, I spent majority of my adult life in the military. And I was around nothing but people with kids, because most people in the military have, like most women, have children. Which I tip my hat off to women in the military that's raising kids and going through military life. Oh my God. y'all. Because I felt like I had the most obstacles in the world. So I couldn't imagine being somebody's mother and going through all this shit that I went through while I was in the military. Oh my God. Oh my God. So much respect and love to women that serve and take care of children, because that's a lot. But the reason why I brought that up is because I worked with women that were mothers in the service, and I remember it was we had like different shifts. So the shift that I was on was like the early morning one, and the other one was like, I think the young lady, she was in the evening. So but she was saying about complaining about not being able to spend time with her family, and I was like, I overheard the conversation. I was like, oh well, you could just switch shifts with me. You could take my shift so you could get off early so you can go be with your family. Like, that's the type of person I am. I'm the type of person, if I could make someone that has children life easier, then I'm the type of person I would just step in and help in any way I can, because I know how hard it is. Like, I don't, like, that's my biggest issue with this, like, conversation, is that women saying that you don't understand. Like, that, honestly, that blows my mind. Because with me, I didn't have any kids, and I was willing to alter my life just so she could be able to spend time with her family. And fast forward, that girl ended up doing some weird stuff. But anyway, I'm the type of person, I am a sponge myself. And even though I don't have a physical child that came out of me, I understand like what women have to go through. Like, you have to literally sacrifice yourself to take on a responsibility of other human beings. And I don't know. I hope people, if any mothers see this video, I hope you don't take my disposition on this conversation the wrong way, because you shouldn't. Like, the whole goal is to make sure you be the best mother that you can be. And honestly, I feel like a lot of women don't really value motherhood anyway. I don't even think half of y'all want to be mothers anyway. That's just my unpopular opinion. Like, whatever. If you think I'm being judgmental, so what? Because I feel like it's true. Because I feel like what mother that really love motherhood will go out of her way to try to downplay and down a woman that, that don't have kids, and say, oh, you don't have kids, or try to say, oh, what like, you can't speak on this. It's like, if you really love motherhood in totality, you wouldn't give a damn about what no woman say that don't got no kids. Cause that wouldn't even be at the top of your mind, because you just so in love with raising your kids and doing what you gotta do as a mother that you wouldn't even care what a woman with no kids has to say. Like, it don't matter, because that don't affect what you got going on with your kids, because you made a choice to be a mother, and that's what you wanted to do. And me personally, this might be an unpopular opinion, I would respect women more if you would just give your kids up for adoption and allow a woman or a family to raise your kids if you don't want them. That's just my opinion. Or give it to your children to a trusted family member that that's willing to step up. Because I feel like being a mother is a big responsibility. And if you're not willing to do it, get out the way. Let somebody else take over. Let somebody that actually want to be a mother do what need to be done. Because there's a lot of women that struggle with fertility, and that's not even able to have kids. And you over here playing. Like, ladies, let's tighten up. Let's tighten up, because I feel like at the end of the day, everything in life is a choice. That's my biggest thing. I think I want, any women or woman to see this video. You have to take accountability for your life. You have to be responsible and make sure you take care of your responsibilities and do what needs to be done. If you choose to have children, that's a choice. You choosing to take on a responsibility. So you have to make sure you take this responsibility in high regard, and don't take it lightly, because it's important, because your children are watching you, especially if you're a woman and you have daughters. Oh my God. Like, you don't want your daughters to become a woman that you don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your daughters to fall victim to becoming something that you wouldn't be proud of. So you got to stay 10 toes down on this responsibility and make sure you be mindful on what you expose your children to, because they're watching you. And like I said, if you don't want to be a mother, let somebody else take over. And I know that might sound harsh, but hey, if you don't believe, and what they said, if you don't believe in having abortions, then give your children up for adoption, because That like children don't deserve this type of behavior and traumas that they're being exposed to. Like they don't deserve that. They don't. And I mean like me not having kids, like I swear to God, like I would always advocate for a child if that's what I gotta do. Because I try my best with my nieces and their mother, but me personally, one thing about me, I don't tolerate disrespect. Like I'm not finna allow someone to disrespect me when I'm using my resources to help, because I don't have to do anything. I didn't sleep with nobody. I didn't sleep with nobody, so I'm not the only person I'm responsible for. I know y'all see the dog back there. That's the only creature or whatever you want to call it. That's the only thing I'm responsible for. So I'm not gonna, put myself in a situation where I'm responsible for children and I don't want to uphold the responsibility of it. Like I don't think that's fair. Children deserve love. They deserve attention. They deserve to feel safe. They deserve everything, because children are literally the future. They gonna become us adults one day. So I feel like as a mother, it's your job to give your child everything they need in order to be the best adult that they can be one day. Because like I said, they're not going to stay children. Because I think most people would just be focused on that baby phase. And it's like, no, you're raising a whole human being. And honestly, me being a single woman, I've noticed that every man that I've dealt with in my past had a mother wound. So honestly, I have the right to speak on this topic because I'm going to date someone's son one day. So if you as a mother not doing what you need to do with your son, how is he going to be an effective partner? For me to be able to become a mother one day, and I can't even have a effective partner because a lot of these men have issues with you. Like, yeah, so yes, I have a right to speak on motherhood because I'm being affected by it. Yes, I am. I'm being affected by it because I feel like every dude that I dealt with, they had an issue with their mama. And I felt so bad because it's like, it's not their fault. Like, they didn't ask to be here. Like, matter of fact, I'm going to give y'all an example of one situation that I dealt with where a guy, because he was being vulnerable. Like, he shared this information with me. Like, this is the reason why I know about their mother wound is because I'm the type of woman, I listen. I ask questions. Because if I like you, I want to understand you better. So, basically, this one particular guy, he basically was the product of adultery. Like his mom was cheating, well, basically dating a married man that already had a family. And when you really think about it, how can a woman that didn't even think enough of herself to date a man that didn't have a wife already, what type of mother do you think she was to him? Like really, we really got to sit back and think about that. What type of woman a woman that's a mother, what can she actually teach a man to be strong, to be resilient, to be confident? And she didn't even display those attributes in her own life. She didn't even think enough of herself to like, you know what? Me dating this married man and I end up getting pregnant by him, that's not going to be good for my son or daughter, whatever gender you have. And I think that him being a product of adultery, I think that affected him as a man. Because it's like, how can you raise your son to be confident, and you as a mother not even confident enough to think enough of yourself to date a man that's single and that's not a husband already? Like, come on now. This conversation gets really deep, and I think a lot of people are not ready for it. Because yes, like I said, this motherhood, women not stepping up to the plate and doing what they got to do as mother, it does affect me. Because like I said, every guy that I ever dealt with had an issue with their mama. And I'm like, wow. And it's not their fault. Because it's like, they didn't ask to be brought here. They had to go through all the trials and tribulations with their mother because their mother wasn't sure who she was as a woman. That's why I said you have to master womanhood before you enter into motherhood. You have to master womanhood before you enter into motherhood. You have to. Because I feel like that's the only way you can be an effective and productive parent and be able to effectively teach your children what they need to know in order to maneuver through life. Because if you're not understanding life, how can you teach your children life? Like, it's almost like the blind leading the blind. Like I literally see the video where a guy was saying like, basically how it takes a village to raise a child, but what if the village is retarded? I was like, dang. Everybody was laughing behind him because he right. Excuse my language was using that word, but that's what he said. And he's like, how can you be an effective like parent and have a village, and the village is not making good decisions and not doing the right thing? Y'all are doing your children a disservice. Y'all failing them. And it's really sad because, like I said, children deserve everything. Anything that we need to do as humans to help children, to further children, to speak life into children, that's what we need to do as aunties, uncles, mothers. Like, because I feel like he said, the village, like we need to support the people that have mothers. Like this conversation is not to create division. It's to create to basically bridge the gap in between that, to let women know that if you have children, stand 10 toes down on it. And don't disrespect the people that's trying to help you just because they don't have kids and they didn't choose to have sex and bring life. Like, that's a choice. So I feel like at the end of the day, we have to respect one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have an issue with respecting women that have children. I tip my hat off to y'all. Y'all doing, the women that's doing what they supposed to do, I got much respect and love for y'all, because y'all are making a sacrifice to do everything you need to do to make sure your children have everything they need. And I respect any woman that's standing 10 toes down on her children. But the women that don't, I'm sorry, I don't have no respect for y'all at all. Because at the end of the day, your children, like I said, I'm going to say it again, your children did not ask to be brought here. They didn't. Like, you and whoever you had your kid with, y'all got to be responsible and do what needs to be done to make sure your children become, productive adults. Because that's the whole goal of raising children, is to make sure they be productive adults. And honestly, this conversation, I hope a lot of people find this as something that's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we all need to work together as a community, as a society. Because even if you don't have kids, if you out somewhere and you see a kid, being disruptive or doing something ain't got no business, you can step in as an adult and say, hey, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where your parents are, but you don't need to do that. Because you could potentially save a child's life. Because I feel like a lot of people will see children doing bad stuff and just turn a blind eye and turn and look the other way. And it's like, no, we need community. These children need not just their parents. They need, respectful adults that's going to be able to look out for them and protect them. Because at the end of the day, children need to be loved and protected. And I feel like if you're going to have a child and you want to be a mother, you need to understand womanhood first. Because womanhood, at the end of the day, I can only speak about being a black woman. Because being a black woman is a beautiful thing. We are just some awesome, creative, beautiful, loving, nurturing. Like, black women are literally the blueprint. And matter of fact, I literally seen a podcast, and it was, what this lady said was so profound. She said being a black woman is it's a wonderful thing, like wonderful. But she said what makes it hard and difficult is the systems around us. And when she said that, I said, wow, that honestly freed my mind, because as a woman, you can't regardless of what the system around us, you can't let it stop you from being you and showing up and being a woman that God called over your life. Because no matter what the system is, you still can be you, still continue to show up and be your best self and do everything you need to do in order to be a better woman. Because that's the whole purpose of womanhood. Understanding who you are, understanding who you want to be, understanding that you have the power to be what you want to be, and not allowing people to cloud your judgment, wanting to be accepted or receiving validation from other people. Being the best woman you can be, standing 10 toes down on your values, your morals, your character, your integrity, who you are as a woman. That determines your womanhood. And I feel like, make sure you master womanhood before you go into motherhood. So yeah, that was episode 3, Womanhood versus Motherhood. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And if you want to, continue to ride with your girl, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And thank you for watching. Bye, y'all.
The black woman is everything. The black woman is gold. The black woman's the reason why my heart is never cold. You see, the black woman is precious. The black woman is bold. Black women, they never fold. They no more precious than gold. Look, the black woman is everything. The black woman is gold.